I want to thank the subcommittee because we're really talking about setting the groundwork here for the next Farm Bill and how we try, hopefully, to come together in a bipartisan effort as we look at reauthorization of the SNAP program and the WIC program. And this testimony, I think, is important, setting that stage. You know, when we first looked at reforming welfare in the mid-1990s, I remember very clearly in California that we were struck that to the issue of employment and training and how many of the folks that we were trying to help didn't have the necessary educational standards. I mean, they didn't have the high school diploma. And so we had to spend the time providing that education so that they could then step into the training, so that they could then have the opportunity, so meaningful job placement. To Mr. Weber and Ms. McCoy-Wade, I know that the complete evaluation of the employment and training will not be finalized before the next Farm Bill, but we will have some preliminary data that we can refer to and look to expand the program. But given that you are already producing these, I think, very good, positive, significant outcomes, shouldn't we be investing now in programs that have been shown to generate such positive social and fiscal benefits?
Well, Congressman Costa, the answer in short is yes. Most of us, I think, have read Moneyball on government, and we want the rigorous kind of analysis that is being made available through the ENT pilots, but those results are not going to be reported in full until 2021.
Well, and that's part of the challenge, because we're going to be putting together, we hope, in the next year, 18 months, the Farm Bill, and a lot of predeterminations are going to be made.
So we know that there are lots of people out there who want the kind of assistance that we can provide, and so anything that can be done to provide added funding. We are not constrained by people by people's interest in this program. We're constrained by funding.
Ms. McCoy-Wade, because a couple other questions I want to ask before my time expires. No, go ahead. You want to comment on this?
I was just going to add that we do know something about what works in job training, both from the Bridges Academy work before the pilot, but also from our TANF programs and from the Recovery Act funding of subsidized employment, in particular, giving employers extra incentive to take a chance on some of these employees with limited history, more barriers, maybe some soft skills challenges. So I think there are things we do know and can invest in before.
In your department, looking at the Fresno Bridge Academy and doing evaluation, obviously, I think it's a very extraordinary program that improves lives and gives an opportunity to become independent. Based on your calculations that the $5.50 is being returned to the taxpayers for every taxpayer dollar invested, how much of that savings do you think in the outlays for SNAP benefits takes place?
The direct benefits out of the $5.50 to the SNAP program is $1.51. $1.83 is attributable to the fact that people are now paying income taxes, whereas before they were not. And the rest of it is a combination of a number of different factors, including, for example, the benefit of having a GED and what that means in terms of lifetime earnings and taxes paid and so on.
We obviously think that you're doing a terrific job, but how, when we look at, clearly in Washington State, you've done some very groundbreaking work, I believe, but how much of this is, in terms of the firsthand evidence on the program, in improving lives of some of the poorer families in our communities, is this program being able to be replicated?
Well, we started, as you know, Congressman, in 2 locations in Fresno. We are now in 9 locations within Fresno County, 1 in San Joaquin County, 2 coming up, 1 in Napa County, and 1 in Madera County. So it is very replicable. It is very scalable. We just started the ENT pilot in January of this year. We've already enrolled 1,563 participants in the ENT pilot this year.
Mr. Stillman and Mr. Addison, there's a little bit of time left, but what advice would you give the members of this subcommittee and the full committee as we look toward reauthorization next year on the Farm Bill as it relates to the SNAP program and the WIC program?
Well, I'd keep it simple. Let's not break what's working. Let's focus our attention on some additional outcome type orientation. I know there were questions asked earlier about things like a work participation rate. As a TANF side of the house, it makes me cringe to think about the output measures that are associated with that, but I do understand the need for public accountability. So let's identify some outcome measures that we can all agree to. I think further integration with the workforce system, particularly where we can rely on intermediaries, whether it's the Fresno Bridge Academy, Seattle Jobs Initiative, where we can use intermediaries that are at the community level to emphasize how we deliver those services. If you can help build an infrastructure that influences us, motivates us, pushes us in that direction, and still leaves us some room for local creativity, that's what I would urge for you all to consider as you move forward.
Mr. Anderson, can you answer that in 10 seconds?
I agree with Mr. Stillman.
Perfect. There you